Welcome to another home workout. We are here to relight your fire. Okay, so our warm-up today has two movements that are very closely connected. We're going to do some bottle front raises, so grab your set of bottles. You can also use very light weights for this. If you have a set of dumbbells or maybe kettlebells, don't go over 5 kilos for this particular exercise, right? Let's show you the two movements with Daphne and Edward. Now guys, our first movement is going to be a double bottle front raise, starting with the bottles in front of the legs with the palms facing the legs, the shoulders down, the belly tight. From here, we're going to raise the bottles in a big range of motion towards shoulder height, and we're going to bring it back down. In order to not cheat at all, you want to make sure that you are rather a bit higher than the shoulder, because then you have a good point to work towards too. It's also easy to, for example, block your sight by going exactly to your eye height. That also helps you to have a fixed standard to go to. Now this is very slow performed, so you at home can see how the movement should look like. Now I want you guys to show me how it looks like in workout tempo. Let's go. The idea of today is do fast reps of this shoulder front raise to get a good pump in the shoulder in a very quick period of time. If you're going this fast, I do want you to maintain a tight belly throughout doing the repetitions here. Let's break for a second. First, I'm going to make Edward show you what to do today if you have an injury with the front delts. And this feels very weird. Maybe even the bicep can help with that as well as something that's injured. Now, can you hinge forward for me? So upper body is going to be almost parallel to the floor. It's going to make a very big circle with the arms, doing a rear delt raise here. This is always a good substitution for movements that hit the front delt with an injury, because you just switch to the rear delt. Very nice, Ed. Now, our second movement for the warm-up is, I say, very closely connected to the first one, because it is going to be a hold in the end position of the bottle front raise. So if you guys can do one rep, but then hold it in the top position, and people at home can see what's happening. So when you're doing this, I need you to imagine that you're standing against the pole with your butt and your shoulders, because you want to avoid arching the lower back. And we're just going to statically hold the bottles here in line with the shoulder, or like I said, slightly above the shoulder. Blocking eyesight is a perfect way to go to as well. Very nicely done. The palms are facing down. You guys can rest. And then for a final time, we'll look at Edward, what to do in order to scale this for an injury. And then obviously we're going to connect it to the one we just showed you. So go to the same position you just did. Now we're going to hold the end position of the rear delt raise. So we still have two movements that are closely connected. This is exactly what we need for this warm-up. Right, we just showed you these two movements that are going to warm up specifically the deltoids. Right? One very dynamic and fast movement, combined with a very static movement. These two combined, we're going to do the following format. We're going to have a timer running for 3 rounds, 1 minute on and 1 minute off. In that working minute, we'll do 20 fast repetitions of the front raise. And with the time remaining, we'll do a front hold. If you need to break the front hold, you go down for just 2 to 3 seconds, you go right back up, and you think about the minute of rest that comes later. Now let's get started, guys. They're going to start with you. So in 10 seconds, we start with our 20 quick raises, and then we just look at people holding a bottle in front of the shoulder. Great. In 3, 2, 1. All right, let's move. So 20 raises. And when they're doing this, their very simple goal is, yes, to raise the bottle, but also to squeeze their glutes and abs at the same time to make sure that their upper body and lower body stays connected and in the same spot the entire time. And the only movement is coming from the deltoid muscles. Nice. So we're only 20 seconds in. Probably it's about a rep per second. I was right on that one. It's about a rep per second. So that means you're going to do this for 40 seconds in the hold. This is why I was warning you to not go very heavy on this warm-up. If you at home have dumbbells, don't go over 5 kilo on this. It is still intended to be a warm-up, although it's intended to tire you out just a tiny bit in the shoulders today. That is all good. We got 15 more seconds of the front hold. 10 more seconds before we go into our 1 minute break. And 3, 2, 1, and rest. Very easy combo of some movement and some static holds, right? This was 1 round. There are 2 rounds left. You guys keep going. See you back in a second. Alright, so 3 different movements for our second part of today's session. I'm not going to call this plain mobility. I'm going to call this active mobility, right? We are going to work in the end range of motion of certain positions, but we're going to make sure we're still moving in there. Very good exercises. So we're going to start off with sumo squats, and I need them to be very, very, very slow. So I'm going to have Daphne and Ed here. And guys, don't go as slow as we're actually going to do later on. But for now, for the people at home as well, let's go for approximately a 5-second downwards movements of the sumo squat. So the idea is this: while they're going, they're going to have their legs wider than in a normal squat position. They're going to have their toes pointed out, and their knees are going to be right on top of the ankle while they're initiating the movement. That's very important. So if you feel like your knees are coming in closer to the ankle, so more inwards, in that case you want to narrow the stance a tiny bit, but make sure you drive those knees over the side of your foot. Very nice performed sumo squats here. Now let's have a look at Edward. Stay in that stance. A scaling option for not being able to bend the knee that far is going to be doing a good morning, but still in that sumo position. So drive your butt back. Make sure you keep your knees tracked over the ankle, which is very hard on the hamstrings and on the hips. Keep pushing your knees out. From there, squeeze your glutes and come back up. A very nice sumo good mornings as an injury scaling option for the slow sumo squats of today's second portion. Now, our second movement will be a back extension. So I want you guys to go on your belly. We're going to keep the feet on the floor in this variation. We're going to have the hands behind the head or on the neck. Right? Now we're going to be all the way down with the chest on the floor. Now from there, we're going to extend, squeeze our butt, and extend the back, and we're going to come back down. Very nice. Come back up and come back down. And these are our back extensions. Love what I see here. Good. Now, if you guys take a break and stay on the floor, Daphne, can you reach for that bottle next to you? If it's very easy for you to do these 10 reps, I need you to put a weight on your neck and then work from there and then do another couple of back extensions. Beautiful. Now, I don't expect you to needing to scale this in a level on the way down, so it shouldn't have to be easier than just a regular back extension, because the one that Edward was showing for 10 reps should be doable, but if you need to, you can decrease the range of motion just slightly. Okay? Now, let's have a look at our third movement. And the third movement is going to be the one-legged calf raise. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on one leg. The other leg is going to be in the air just a tiny bit. And we're going to stand up from the foot all the way to the toe, slowly lower back down. And we're going to make 10 reps on one side. And then we move on to the other side. And the idea is to hold the end position for a quick second. And when you lower, you're not just going to drop and fall down. You can actually control the way down. Now, Daphne is just here in plain area without anything to hold on to, but if balance is an issue, you can, like Edward, just hold on to a wall to assist you. It shouldn't be a balance exercise, it should be a calf exercise. Reason we're doing this, obviously, is because there's jumping in today's workout. We showed you 3 different movements. Now it's time to put them into action. The format is going to be the following. We're going to have a 9-minute timer running, and we're going to do an EMOM style, which means we're going to do a different movement each minute. It's going to be 3 movements, so 3 rounds, which is 3 minutes. In the first minute, it's 4 super slow sumo squats, and you're going to try to do continuous reps, just for 4 in total, and try to fill the entire minute with that. The second minute will be the back extensions, which you're going to do nice and slow. You're going to probably take about 30 seconds to get through 10 repetitions. Maybe you can add some loading if you need to. Then the third interval is going to be the 10 one-legged calf raises on the left side and also on the right side. And then we do that for 2 more rounds. We're going to do a round with you guys, so pay attention and join us. If you guys are ready, we start in 10 seconds. Really try to fill the time. So approximately 10 to 15 seconds per rep would be great. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Very nice. So you're really going to try to load up the back of the foot here, really sit into the heel. Make sure the knees keep tracking the toes. And yes, you are going to sit as deep as you possibly can, but there needs to be some kind of maintaining of tension in the body. Now you can see that Daphne is very flexible. So in that very low position, she's actually still in control. Her torso looks perfect. Edward's sitting a tiny bit higher, which is still a very good and deep squat. And that is for him the perfect and ideal position to go to. We got 30 seconds left, and yes, they only did 2 reps, so they're right on time there. That's great. And keep them going. I like how they're still very upright and how their knees are right on top of the ankle. That is perfectly done. Okay, 15 more seconds. Don't rush to that last rep. And on the beep, you can easily go to the floor because 10 back extensions in a minute is called easy money. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So Daphne is going to have additional weight on the back. Now normally when we do exercises on the belly, I always talk about scaling up by getting your feet off the floor. In this case, that is not what we need to see. We need to see the feet being on the floor and focusing on hyper and overextending that back just to get a nice warm up in the lower back there. Flexibility is also playing a very important part here. And if you have additional loading, make sure you place it on your back and not in front of you. Nice. So like I said, it's about 30 seconds of work, so you have the time to get through this, and then you're going to get ready, like really get amped up for those calf raises, 10 per leg here. And we're starting with those in 15 seconds. Edward's going to use the walls. He's going to have 2 hands against the wall, facing the wall. Daphne's going to do them just here, plain. And we're going to start in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and calf raise away. 10 reps. Now, if you feel like this goes very fast, specifically with the calf raise, there's nothing wrong with trying to hold that end position for a good 2 seconds. And really try to control lowering the heel back to the floor. Like try to roll your foot down instead of suddenly having the heel touch the floor there. Very nice. After 10 repetitions, you can switch. Really try to press to your big toe in the end position. Good. And hold that squeeze. Make sure you keep your knee extended in this variation of the one leg calf raise. Very nice. You guys got 10 more seconds, which is plenty before we move on to the sumo squats. Alright, so that was one round of 3 minutes, nice and easy warming up, very much focusing on the consistency and slow movement. You guys keep going for 2 more rounds and then see you back for the workout in a minute or 6.
One workout, 3 movements, 1 cameraman, 2 bags. Let's get ready.
Okay, so our first movement is going to be the overhead lunge step. So we're going to have our back in an overhead position. We're going to extend the arms all the way through. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do a regular lunge, forward stepping with the right leg first. So let's start with the right leg. Step, gently touch the floor, come back down, back, and we'll go to the left leg. So it's alternating steps in the workout, guys. So whatever number I throw at you is going to be alternating. So each leg considers to be a repetition here. Very good. Nice overhead lunge. I like how they're staying upright and how their front foot is anchored in the floor. So they really have their heel, big toe, and little toe connected of the really lunging leg. You guys can take a break. We're going to zoom into Edward here. Now we're going to show you 2 injury options for the overhead lunge. First one being I cannot go overhead. In that case, we're really going to go to a classic front rack position and then we keep the forward stepping lunge in there. Here we go. Still starting with the right, still having the back knee gently touching the floor, still having the front knee right over the ankle. Very nice lunges. Now let's say that Edward has an injury at the knee and actually had a couple of those. So what he's going to show you is what we can do instead is we chose to go for a difficult movement, which is the overhead sit-up. You're going to have straight legs. You're going to start on the floor with the back point towards the ceiling and the arms straight perpendicular to the floor. Now from here, he's going to sit up under the bag and push the bag into the ceiling. Now he's going to do a couple of reps here. Rhythm is important. What I like here with the movement, he's always pressing the bag towards the ceiling. He's not using the bag to pull himself forward. So you really want to sit underneath that bag and get into that nice and extended position of the torso underneath the object. Great scaling if you have knee injuries, still working the lower body, specifically the core a lot here. Our second movement is a lateral burpee over the same bag that we've just used. So they're going to have the bag on the right side and they're going to do, let's do a slow set of 4 reps, okay? Just show the people at home 4 reps of the lateral burpee over the bag. Now they're jumping back and forth, they go over. Instead of doing that finish with the clap overhead, they're just jumping over the back. They don't have to extend in the middle so they can stay nice and low. They just do their regular burpee and then you guys can take your break. Good. Now in that burpee, it's the same as every other one. In the bottom position, your chest and thighs need to touch the floor, and it does not have to be a perfect push-up because that's not prescribed by me. But what we are going to look at right now is some different options of how to scale the movement. The first one will be the apartment or no jumping scale, which is a similar one. And it's also a way of slowing down the rhythm of the burpee by doing everything stepping. So Edward's going to step the burpee backwards. He's going to step the burpee up. He's going to step over the bag. Boom. So he still has some more range of motion. He has that element of have to go over an object, paying attention to what he does, doesn't step on top of his bag. That's filled with dumbbells and water. Yes, that's what's up. Good. Now, while Edward goes to the other side, the last thing he's going to show you for just 2 reps is what to do if you can't fully press into that movement. Then we go back to the jumping style if you can at home, and then we just do a kickback variation. So you can do a kickback and then jump over the back. Great, Ed. Thank you. Yeah, so that was actually 2.5, and now it's 3 because he jumped over the bag. Make sure you finish the set by actually jumping over the bag. We had 1 movement to go, like I said in the beginning. So let's look at the last movement. We're going to start with the bag in our front rack position. We're going to squat all the way down. We're going to squat up and then thrust the bag to overhead, and guess what? It's called a thruster. You guys give me 3 nice reps of the thruster. You're going to squat nice and deep. You guys can go. Hips go under the knee there and then press it all the way to overhead. Really try to utilize your lag and hip drive to get that back to pop from the shoulder right into that overhead position. And I love how they're actually holding it in the top position for a second to show control, but also to get a nice pace going. Now, there might be some stuff you cannot do here due to an injury. One of the 2 can be an overhead injury, so you can't go overhead. In that case, we do want to keep some dynamics in the movement, so we throw in the hang squat clean with the bag. Let's go, Eddie. Shaboom. So he's moving the bag from between the knees, from the midfoot. He's jumping up. He's pulling himself under, goes to that full squat. So we're still squatting all the way down and up there, and we still have some upper body involvement, but we're just not going overhead. Now let's take a break, and now let's have a look at what he can do if actually squatting is the issue. So then you also had to scale the lunges to sit-ups, and now we're going to scale the thrusters to a hang power clean, and let's just get that thing overhead anyhow. Let's go. From the knee again, and overhead. Why do we do this instead of a push press? To get some more range of motion in there. The thruster also has more range of motion, and we try to mimic that because it's slower and it's a bit harder to do, and it gets your heart rate up faster, and that is exactly what we need. So let me talk you guys to the format of the day. We just introduced 3 movements to you. How it's set up is the following way. You're going to set your timer. You can use smartwatch for that. 2 minutes on and then 1 minute off. In that 2-minute time frame, you have to do 12 alternating forward stepping lunges with that bag overhead, that deep step. Then you're going to do 9 lateral burpees over the back. So that's fixed amount of repetitions. But then probably there's some time left in the 2-minute time frame. And with the remainder of the time, you're going through as many of those thrusters, squatting all the way down, getting the back overhead, as you possibly can. The only thing we count today is the amount of thrusters that you've done, because everybody has to do the 12 and 9 of lunges and burpees first. The minute after will be just plain rest. So you can recover and then hit it again and try to beat your score from the previous round. Daphne is ready. Ed is ready. I hope you are ready as well. 10 seconds. Now keep your hands off the back. 3, 2, 1. And let's go overhead and let's start that set right away. Here we go. I was waiting for somebody to snatch the bag. That didn't happen. Yeah, I know. So 12 alternating steps, and look at the front feet. The front foot is anchored properly. So heels pressed into the floor, big toe and little toe. That's very important. And both of them actually automatically have their knee positioned on top of the ankle, which is great. And then the back knee is approximately underneath the hip when they're hitting that bottom position. Very nice with the back supported. That took them approximately 30 seconds. Now they're going to do 9 burpees, which will probably take them at this pace a little over 30 seconds. And guess what? That leaves them for a good minute of just doing thrusters. And that is very nice. So knowing how long you have to do thrusters, it might be smart to adjust the pace of the lunges and the burpees to that. So since 9 is an odd numbered amount of repetitions, you'll probably end on the other side at which you started, and I was right. It took him 30 seconds to go through. Now we have about 55 seconds left for thrusters. So when you know that it's very long and you can't hold on to the bag for a full minute, what you do is you make and turn this into shorter sets. You can do, for example, a 25-second set, a close 10 to 15-second break, and then you go very fast for the last 20 seconds. Always realize that there's a minute of rest right after this. Guys, you have exactly 30 seconds left of thrusters with your bag. Now, even if you're just using your hands and not the bag, this will become very spicy just because of the amount of repetitions that you're doing here. We got 20 more seconds of thrusters with the bag, guys. Let's keep going. Since we're this far in, I don't want them to put the bag down now and just keep going until the beep goes. We have 10 more seconds. You guys keep going. At home, if you're joining us right now in the video, it is 5 more seconds. Push through, get a couple of reps in. 2 or 3. 3, 2, 1, break. And that rep didn't count. 1 minute of rest, 4 more rounds to go. Good luck and keep hammering those thrusters.